Controversial. And still the best team in football history. The people, they love us. Cosell, Gifford, and Meredith. They're like the Beatles. In 5 years, nobody will know who they are. TNT gives you the inside story of Monday Night Football. John Turturro is Howard Cosell.
I sell it like it is.
What you saw is only half the story. Monday Night Mayhem. See the world premiere. Monday at 9.
All right. Happy New Year, everybody. And yes, we just had some football games, so I figured, why not review Monday Night Mayhem? If you never heard of it, that's okay. So I will do that review right after this Mr. Perfect message.
Out of the ring, out of the ring, out of control! WWF Royal Rumble on Super Radio's 60 Mayhem! This guy's launching!
It's perfect.
With more WWF superstars than ever before! Unbelievable 6 men in the ring at once! No holds barred, anything goes action! It's a bloodbath!
That's perfect.
Each wrestler's specialty move! Complete mayhem! The Tombstone Press! It's out of control! The Bonsai Trap! Total chaos!
The perfect plex.
Oh, did you see that? WWF Royal Rumble on Super Radio! Get in now!
Perfect.
He is on his way to an unprecedented fourth consecutive passing title and has thrown an NFL best and team record 30 football.
Wrap it up tonight. So get ready. I mean, get ready. Are you ready for some football? For Monday Night Football? We got plans around the bend. We're gonna get it kick-started. Get the crews all set. The crowd is psyched. 'Cause all my rowdy friends are back for Monday.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that commercial with the Royal Rumble Super Nintendo. And I did that because I was originally going to be reviewing Monday Night Raw from, obviously, Monday, but I was told by a little birdie that it was so bad that it was just better off I did not review it. And let's just say that person was correct. Because we did go through it and it was downright bad. So I will just give it a UW, which means unwatchable. So anyway, so back to Monday Night Mayhem. I hope that song got you pumped up, because that's a great way to start a video. And Devin McCourty, if you are watching, since you don't know anything about NFL history and you're an analyst, by the off chance you watch this show, watch the intro to that Monday Night song so you can know who these players are and you know who went to the playoffs that year, even though you should already know this. So just the off chance you are watching, now you know some history. There you go. You know one thing about the NFL now.
You're still bugging about that, ain't you?
Yes, and I figured this was a perfect opportunity to do that. But this was the original song from Monday Night. Well, I'm sorry. That is not the original song from Monday Night Football, but that is what I grew up with. And since I am reviewing Monday Night Mayhem, this is how Monday Night Football began. And I know that sports movies aren't exactly a big hit on my channel, but this is a borderline drama and sports movie. I'm taking a chance with this. Hopefully somebody that likes production will like this movie, because this isn't about the actual game. This is about the announcers, the camera crew, and the producers all working together to make Monday Night Football this big entertainment kind of sports deal here. This is the first time they're doing something different. They're going to put 3 people in a booth together for the first time ever, and you can see the difficulties with that. Howard Cosell, Frank Gifford are in this with Don Meredith. The actual original people, I forgot, was Howard Cosell, Keith Jackson, and Don Meredith. And the way they treat Keith Jackson is interesting. So
Why?
when you see that, you'll see how cutthroat the entertainment industry really is. So, and to do something to Keith Jackson it was kind of nasty. I guess relationships do kind of, I guess it does matter in some ways, no matter how talented they are. Well, so anyway, so later on, Frank Gifford does join and stays for a long time, because that was actually Frank Gifford's voice during that Monday Night Football song that I put on for the audience. That's why I wanted that on there, so you could actually hear a familiar voice. When I'm talking about somebody, then you get to hear them. It's kind of a neat thing. So, yes.
I still have no idea who you are talking about.
You will see when
What else is new?
When I actually go through the whole clips and everything else. So,
What else is new?
So the actors in this is John Hurd, who plays Rune Arledge, the president of ABC Sports. And we know John Hurd from the Home Alone movies, the first two Home Alone movies.
And who did he play?
He was the dad.
Oh, okay.
He was Mr. McAllister. And then he was in the movie Big, The Pelican Brief. Eli Wallach, he plays Mr. Golson. He also works for ABC. He is pretty much he's kind of above our Arledge, so he's kind of a higher up. So anyway, so we all know Eli Wallach from, sorry, I had a heart palpitation. So Eli Wallach, we all know he was in the movie The Holiday. He was in The Magnificent Seven, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, Godfather Part 3, and he's been in many, 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 many things. He died at the age of 98. So this guy has been around the block for a long time. And now, if you've never heard of this movie, I forgot to mention, this was a made-for-TV TNT movie. So obviously my review is going to be a little bit different than if this was like a big blockbuster in the movie theaters kind of movie, but this was not. I actually found this movie at Big Lots for $1. So, and then I bought it years later at the flea market. I also found it for $1. I had to rebuy it because it did not make the move. I lost it somewhere along the way. So the story is CBS and NBC turned down this Monday night idea. So Rune wants to, played by John Hurd, wants to jump in, and he wants them to spend the $8 million to get ABC, I know, a little ABC, to take over this Monday night explosion of primetime football. Which I know sounds like it should be a no-brainer, but at this time it was a big deal. It's never really been done before. And also, and like I said, they want to try to make things different, and they also have to get announcers for this as well. And they end up getting Don Meredith, Howard Cosell, played by John Turturro, who
I like him.
You know who he is? Okay, so John Turturro, since somebody got the Johns mixed up with Travolta and Turturro,
I hate you.
he was in The Rounders, he was in Mr. Deeds, he played the butler, he was also in Anger Management, Barton Fink, Do the Right Thing, Hands of Stone. The stupid Big Lebowski movie. Just to name a few. You don't know any of those. So, and I have been critical of him on this channel a couple times, especially during the Big Lebowski. I'm going to say this though, he does play Howard Cosell. He actually does a really good job at playing Howard Cosell, I have to say. So, that is obviously the main star to this movie. They show him puffing on the cigar right at the beginning. And Howard Cosell was a big sports guy in these days, but he mostly announced boxing. But he did special appearances with the Heisman Trophy. He did congratulate O.J. Simpson on winning the Heisman. I had to mention that. It was in the documentary, and I saw it. So yes, I did have to mention that. I'm sorry. So Brad Beyer plays Don Meredith. So he kind of joins in. He's got the cowboy hat, kind of the big personality. He's done a lot of broadcasting before, so they kind of brought him in. He's played by Brad Beyer. I don't really know anything about him, to be honest with you. I know he was in he was in a couple things I did see. He was in the movie 42. He did a lot of TV appearances in Special Victims Unit. I think he was in Code Black. So he has been in things before. I just haven't really put the name and the face together. So anyway, so those are the first two people that they tend to bring in. Ruin Arledge is also on the golf course talking to Frank Gifford, his friend, who obviously most people know that eventually he does bring him in. He was a quarterback of the New York Giants, and this is a problem that Howard...
Did they suck back then too?
Oh, wow. We're just pulling all the punches at these people today. No, I believe back then they were pretty good. I know they had some bad times in the late 70s to 80s, but this is 1968. I think, I'd have to look back, but I think this is when they had their decent years. I think at this time they were playing at Yankee Stadium, but I could be wrong. I'd have to look that up. But yes, Frank Gifford used to play for the New York Giants. He was in the greatest game ever played between the Colts and the Giants. They were in the first overtime game, and that was a big game for TV. And that's how the NFL was kind of brought on to be on the TV networks. That game made it big for TV. So anyways, so getting back to this, that was the game. I would like to get it on DVD, but I doubt I can find it. It would be a fun one to have. So this is more, so they are using this more as the entertainment, sort of what I go against. They want to make this a more entertaining kind of thing, and Howard Cosell doesn't like being between Don Meredith and eventually Frank Gifford when he joins, because he called it jockocracy, which meant the jocks are running the networks, and he did not like that because Frank Gifford gets names wrong, and this drives Howard Cosell nuts. So you have three guys in a booth, and there are arguments, let's say, on the air and behind the scenes as well. So I will show the first clip of when they are getting ready to do this Monday night Mayhem football deal here. Oh, I got to turn off the lights.
CBS passed on this Monday night thing. So did NBC.
Sure, but CBS has I Love Lucy, and NBC has the Johnny Carson show where they care. But to us, it's a risk.
What risk?
Well, this is the whole hullabaloo here, how they're talking about the TV networks. And what they explain is that CBS has I Love Lucy and NBC has the Johnny Carson show. So Arledge is trying to use that as pretty much saying they already have their primetime slot. We need one as well. And I believe Pete Rozelle, played by Jay Thomas, and I believe his price is $8 million to get the Monday night package to ABC. And at this time, obviously, that is a lot of money. So this is a huge risk, because if they put that kind of money up and it bombs, there goes ABC. It's pretty much down the toilet. So it's a big risk for them. So Howard Cosell does come up to he comes up to Eli Wallach, and he kind of makes a snickering remark at him. And then Eli Wallach says, doesn't he work for us? And what do you know? So Howard Cosell is the one that they actually put in the booth. So now we are going to see Rune Arledge play golf with Frank Gifford, and he's talking about this new this new thing that they're going to be doing in the booth, how he talks about the entertainment side to it. So I will show you that in just a second.
Good to see you're laughing, Ron. You know the guys over at CBS? Yeah, they think this Monday night thing is a big joke.
What are they laughing about? NBC and CBS both cover football like it's being played at Westminster Abbey. And that Ray Scott.
Boy, Deller, good for another 15 yards.
I mean, what the hell is that? Come on, our games are going to be about entertainment, Frank. The presentation is going to be everything. The vision.
So this is Arledge is friends with Frank Gifford, so they are just obviously playing a nice, friendly game of golf, and he's explaining the whole situation to him that he's going to try to make entertainment if the games are lousy, which to start out they kind of were on Monday night. It was a new thing, and there was actually no. I do want to add that there was no theme song until I believe maybe 1980. From what I just read, there was no original song in the 60s. The song what I was asked about is who did it. Well, there was nobody. It was just little. It was the instrumental part that is so remembered, and that didn't actually come out till maybe 10 years after. So that would have been 78, because I believe this started in 68, 69. So from what I read, it took 10 years just to get the song rolling. So anyways. So they were going to up the production. They're trying to make it exciting. They're going out with a bang here. They're putting pretty much all the chips are in on this. So it is going to show how they do up the production with all the camera guys. And I do like that they are showing this, because without everybody, without all the little guys, you would not have a game. I mean, let's be clear on that. If you take away the camera crew and the little trucks outside, you don't have a game.
To watch.
At all. Yes. So now we're going to go through he's now bringing in Don Meredith now, and they don't really have the strongest relationship, but again, money does talk. So I'm going to show you that scene in just a second.
What do you really want to do, Don?
Rune, I want to have fun. I mean, that's the reason I quit football. It wasn't fun anymore.
Then you want to come to ABC. You don't want to go to CBS. CBS is death row. We have a lot of fun at ABC.
Well, they got money at CBS.
Really? How much money?
Oh, 20 grand for this season.
So these are very interesting negotiations. Obviously, he's with Don Meredith right now. He's got a little cocky attitude with his cowboy hat, but that's what I guess TV does. He obviously played with Dallas for a while, then went to be on the broadcasting team. I think he did work for NBC. I can't remember if it was CBS or NBC. I know I have him on one of my old games that I have. But anyways, so obviously the prices are a little bit different. In 1968, we have he's negotiating about 20 grand for the season, and he's trying to get 30. Boy, have times changed. He wants 30 grand, and how much are they making now? 20 million, 40 million? A lot of money. So obviously, Don Meredith did, and he did negotiate his contract. So now he is now joining the Monday Night Football team. So far, he's got Meredith, and Kurt Gowdy had to turn them down. He was a big announcer in the day because NBC pretty much has him in a headlock. So now he is talking to Chet, who is the director of NBC Sports, and he's going to try to get him to move to ABC. And I'm going to show you that clip in just a second.
Than any sports director who ever lived. You know, NBC and CBS, they use 4, maybe tops 5 cameras.
Yeah.
We're going to use 9 cameras, okay? We're going to have 1 at the 50-yard line, 2 at each 30-yard line, and 1 in either end zone to pick up the pass routes, you know? Mm-hmm.
Well, this is Chet Forte. As you can tell right away, he's got a little bit of a gambling problem. So this might, so he might be in some trouble later on in this. Obviously, it's not a good road when you see that. So obviously, I didn't realize ABC had any creative bones in their body at all. But he's pretty much telling them to go big or go home. He wants more cameras. He wants pretty much. It's what he's saying. It's like he's bringing in HDTV before HDTV was even invented. So he's got Rune is really he's really thinking big. I'm really liking all this because this is he was just a little bit ahead of its time, I guess. Because all those camera shots are good, but what people forget is, I still remember the days of network TV where you're fiddling with the rabbit ears and sometimes that didn't work and you're having a big line across your TV and you can't even get a good picture in there. The cable TV wasn't really a thing yet. So that's kind of interesting when he's talking about all these camera angles. Seeing it isn't exactly, it's kind of a far-fetched idea, but it's a really good vision. So obviously later on, all that stuff does happen. But at this time in the 60s, that's very different quality. But obviously now that's no big deal, and Rascal's licking the couch. So Rascal's in the shot. So now or he's not. So now Howard Cosell is finally making his presence in this movie again. So now they are officially bringing him on. They really kind of went through a lot of people. And then finally they're going to Howard Cosell. So I'm going to show you that in just a second.
We've done a lot together, 68 in Mexico City, Ali, all the fights for racial equality.
Good afternoon, Howard.
I have been the main instrument of your crusade to eradicate the kowtowing to the poo buzz of sports.
Truly eloquent instrument.
But now when you're starting up the biggest venture in the history of ABC Sports, I'm on the outside looking in. It's unjust.
Howard, I had to get all the pieces of the Monday night package. Don't you realize, Howard, that I just couldn't risk hearing a no?
Well, Howard's in, so now they got their Monday night crew. Now the third guy they don't actually show until the preseason, which I'm going to show in a couple seconds. So Howard is in. He's excited about it. He pretty much says that they're going to change the way that sports are broadcasted. They're really looking to do something new here. So let's see how the preseason rehearsal goes. It has to go really well, right? I mean, nothing can really go wrong. Well, let's see.
Play now? Come on, wake up, guys.
What kind of angle is that? What's no one doing? Imitating Picasso?
It's preseason, but... Well, golly gee, this is going to be a fun game.
Take two. I fought smarter than that guy talks. Golly gee.
Roger the Dodgers pension
First and
for
goal
reliance
for
on the
Dallas.
slant pass
The ball
over the
resting
middle.
on the 6-yard line.
Ready, Cap?
Well, I got two guests here right now. I got Skip and Rascal. And I guess they want to see, I guess they really enjoyed this clip of the fiasco that they had going on in the booth. So, this is what can go wrong with three people. Obviously, they're talking over each other. They're not really talking about the game. And also, they've got a few of their hiccups with the camera crew as well. So, yeah, the camera crew looks like they are working on a Kevin Smith movie. So, anyways, so getting back to Monday Night Mayhem, they finally get their first game, and let's see if they get it together. So there is an inaccuracy with they do bring the song out, but that again was 10 years later. So yes, there are going to be inaccuracies with movies like this. We've gone over those before. So I will show the next clip, and they are in the wonderful. I think they're in. It looks like they're at the New York Jets, but I think they say they're in Cleveland Municipal Stadium. Oh, that's great. So there's sewage. So they're pretty much in a raw sewage plant if they're playing there. Oh, there were stories. So I will get to that clip in just a second.
Cleveland, Ohio, where the Browns will play host to the New York Jets. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alex Cosell, and welcome to ABC's Monday Night Prime Time National Football League television series.
Right there, Hal.
Simpsons pass. Complete to number 84. Bear Hooker.
Bear Hooker. Now, isn't that a great name?
I pass.
Oh, come on. Bear Hooker. Well, I haven't met one yet.
Well, I had to get this opening part here. This is how they are trying to get the audience's attention with that song. Obviously, it is catchy, and even when you hear it today, it's awesome. So it stood the test of time, and yes, it is. And obviously, Meredith is. I had to bring up his little comment that he made in the booth. Obviously, today, if he makes that comment, Generation Boring would be all over him like flies on a rump roast. He would not get away with that at all. He would be off the air probably that day. And they would put him with some stupid stiff that they have working for the network. Because that would not fly at all. John Madden actually used to make jokes like that as well. And I bet boring Al Michaels probably had a few words with him because Al Michaels is the opposite of fun. He's actually the fun police. So, obviously they encouraged this behavior back then, so this was a much more fun time, which is why I do enjoy those older games. So, there is more behavior that goes on in this, and I'm going to show that. Obviously, they can drink a lot more than just water in the booth, unlike today's boring Tony Romo and stupid Jim Nantz. So I will get to that clip in just a second.
Let it not be muddy and warm.
Another 1st and 10 for the Eagles.
That reverse by Billy Wallach is the key for Philadelphia thus far. My partner, Danny Don, told me coming in tonight to watch this monkey work.
What's the matter with Howard? Why is he screwing up so bad?
The son of a bitch is drunk.
Well, like I said, times have changed. Other than water and soda or whatever, they, I guess the owner of the Eagles, the nice man that he is, figured, well, the booth doesn't have a heater, so we'll give him some wonderful recreational drinking goodies of many kinds. I just wonder what was in that bag. But obviously Howard liked it. So obviously Keith Jackson was again in the booth with Howard Cosell, kind of probably throwing up blue and green chunks in the booth. So poor Keith Jackson. During this movie, people missed his leg getting caught on fire, his coat getting stolen, where he had to wear a woman's overcoat, winter jacket with a lot of fur on it, in the booth. So he has been kind of he's been taking it very, very well. Let's just put it that way. But unfortunately, he is about to get gypped, and I'm going to show you that clip right about now. And oh, thank goodness this doesn't happen today. The TV networks are so much more family friendly now. This never happens anymore. And I will show you that clip in just a second.
Look at that again. See if that. Keith. Oh. Glad to see you, Keith.
I'm sure you are.
Yeah, well, actually, I am because I've been thinking. I mean, we got a great new assignment for you, Keith. We're going to put you in charge of college football. In fact, you're going to be Mr. College Football. You may not believe it, but I think that you're going to emerge from this as a major figure in television sports. I think it's going to be better. And as for this other thing, I'm real sorry for the way that you heard about it, but I tried to get in touch with you. I tried to call you.
Find it.
I'm trying to remember where we. Okay, well, like I've made jokes about this before. I'm sure this doesn't happen today. Oh wait, it did. It happened to Greg Olson this year. I forgot. Sorry, Greg. Yeah, so this pretty much happened then. Now he did kick Keith Jackson out, which, in my opinion, this actor did a good job. His name, I guess, is it's Schuler Hensley. He was in The Legend of Zorro and also in Van Helsing, which I just read. And I thought he actually portrayed him really, really well. I thought he got his voice down. So he sends Keith Jackson out, and then he pretty much says, "You're going to be Mr. College Sports." He wasn't wrong on that. He did end up really, really exceeding at. I know he did a NCLS as well, a National League Championship Series. Sorry, NLCS. So I know he did that. I want to say he maybe did some more NFL games as well, but I could be wrong on that. But his main thing was college football. His very last game was that famous Rose Bowl game between the USC Trojans and Texas Longhorns. I forgot the year. It was probably 2005, 2006 maybe. And that was his final game, and unfortunately he passed away a little bit after that. So, yes, and I did enjoy listening to him. I liked him as an announcer. I probably would have liked it if he would have stayed on Monday Night Football instead of Frank Gifford, who we all know was married to Kathy Lee Gifford. And we all know the story, what happened with that. So Frank Gifford does take his spot. He was caught cheating on her on camera.
Shocker.
So, anyways, so moving on from Frank Gifford's adultery. So obviously Keith Jackson's out and Frank Gifford is now in. Now I'm kind of skipping ahead a lot here, but Frank Gifford did get a lot of names wrong. Apparently in this movie, I'm trying to find out. I tried to look it up last night if that was actually true, and I couldn't find anything on it to credit it or discredit it. So I do apologize for that. So now Howard's life is becoming a little bit in danger here.
Yeah, why is that exactly?
I'll have to do some research to find that out, but I know a lot of it is there's a lot of hate mail because he is Jewish. And then there's some other racial slurs in there as well. And I honestly really don't know the reasons for it, but that's so far, that is the thing. That they're out for his blood right now just because he's Jewish. So now we're gonna show the clip of a apparent FBI call that they had to get Howard out of the booth, and now he's back in, and there might be a little gunfire. So I'll show you that clip in just a second.
Jim Brown's rushing record.
If any man was born to do it, it's the juice. Don't you agree, Dandy?
I guess I'll second that, Howard.
These people are...
Well, Howard's going out with a bang. So I guess I do like how everybody ducked, but he just kind of just stood there and just kept going. I do have to look up and see if this really did happen. So far, I haven't found anything on it. So I don't know if this is just made to make the movie entertaining, or if somebody really did shoot at him in a football game. But now there is a scene coming up that really did happen, but there are some things wrong with it. So I will show you that clip in just a second.
Miami fans are stunned. I'm sorry, Frank, but word has just been given to me Tonight, on the street outside his apartment in Manhattan, John Lennon, the ex-Beatle, was shot twice in the back, rushed to Roosevelt Hospital, dead on arrival.
Oh, Lord.
An unspeakable tragedy. It is not too much to say this was a creative genius for our times. I had occasion to meet John Lennon, first on this very...
No, he did announce this on the air, but the inaccuracies here was... Yes, I have to bring them up. Don Meredith was actually not there. It was Fran Tarkenton who was in the booth. And also it was a Dolphins and Patriots game where he made that announcement about John Lennon. And that's probably something else you could probably blame Yoko Ono for. That's who the gunman should have went after, is his ugly insect of a wife. But they got John Lennon instead. So this is probably a very depressing and sad thing that he had to do on the air. Because like he said, he did interview him before. And Howard Cosell did interview a lot of major people in sports and entertainment. And also he wanted to get more into the important stuff, like the hostages that were in Germany. He wanted to really branch out into the news. He wanted to do the important things. He yelled at somebody for asking him about a question about a football game when there was other things going on. So I will. I'm actually going to play one more clip here, and this is the famous event that happened that stirred up Howard's career even more. And I will get to that scene in just a second.
Changing tides have been flowed. Theismann, Love, Alvin, Darren, the new receiver, Joe Gibbs brought in, and that little monkey gets loose, doesn't it?
That's why they call him the Smurfs, Howard.
He's picking them apart.
Let's not forget the monkey. Yeah.
About some little monkey thing.
What little monkey?
I don't know. They say Howard called somebody a little monkey.
He calls everybody that. Ready, 7, take 7.
Who the hell is it?
Here is the famous look at that little monkey run clip. That was that was the final straw, I guess. And I do remember him saying that earlier in this movie too, and it was blown off. Now, I guess in 1985 or whatever this is, I guess they made a bigger deal about it. Okay, well, obviously he didn't... his wife years later showed that Howard would call either his nieces and nephews little monkeys, and they were Caucasian. So obviously he was not a racist person at all. That's just how he talked. And obviously it got him in trouble. I'm not going to tell you exactly how this movie ended, but most people do know. But this is, so I'm not going to tell you the ending of the movie. He was actually trying to branch out after this and go into the Senate. So you'll have to see how all that stuff works out when you do eventually decide to see this. So I will do my little review on it now, and if I recommend this movie. So since this was a TV movie, the production wasn't exactly let's say it wasn't the most expensive looking movie made. I did like how it was more behind the scenes of what goes on with Monday Night Football than showing the actual games. People did gripe about the fact that the games weren't accurate or they didn't show enough of them, but that's not really the point of this. They were showing how this was made this to look really, really big and how they were going bold with this. And then they did show the announcers struggling and practicing and obviously kicking one to the curb and then bringing somebody else in. So if I had to grade this movie, I would actually give it a B-. It was very enjoyable. The cast was good. In my opinion, it was a well-written movie. I honestly recommend seeing this 2 or 3 times. And the reason being is, I think when this was shown, this came out in 2002. So something I would like to add to that is this movie was actually on VHS. If this was aired on TV and somebody watched this, and there were no real, I don't know when DVRs were actually a big thing, but if you just turned your head and your kids interrupted you for a second, and you missed something, it would actually be a big deal. This is a movie you really do have to pay attention and listen to. I've seen this movie 3 times since I rebought it, and there's still things I missed. So I actually do recommend seeing this a few times. What streaming service it's on, I have no idea. You're gonna have to find this you're gonna have to find this on Amazon or eBay. Yes, I know, my famous lines. Or do what I did and find it at a flea market for $1 or at a garage sale. It's worth the money, $1. I mean, what is that really? So, honestly, this is a movie to check out. If you're a football fan, check it out. If you're a Monday Night Football fan, check it out. Or if you like the behind-the-scenes camera or TV production, like one of my friends are very interested in. If you're interested in the production side, this is definitely a movie to check out. So, I would definitely pick it up and watch it. So, thank you for watching. Comment below, subscribe if you want, and I'll see you next time.